And hello once again mga champions. Isang magandang tanghali po mga kapwa naming naka-quarantine sa kanilang mga bahay. Welcome to Mental Health Talks, protecting our mental health versus COVID-19. Ako po muli si Naiko Bautista ng Mental Health PH at ako ang inyong magiging host para sa hapong ito. To start off our program, ipapakilala ko muna ang ating guest for today. Isa siyang child and adolescent psychiatrist that graduated from the University of the East Ramon Magsaysay Memorial Medical Center in 1994. Nagtapos ng residency in general psychiatry sa Medical City, Pasig noong 2001, then followed by her fellowship in child psychiatry at the Philippine Children's Medical Center in 2004. She has been speaking in various events discussing topics related to addiction, children and teen depression, and suicide. She was also the vice president of the Philippine Psychiatric Association in 2018, then in 2019 became the president of the same organization. Active member din siya ng iba't ibang mga organizations including the Philippine Medical Association, the Philippine Society for Child and Adolescent Psychiatry, and Group for Addiction Psychiatry of the Philippines. Currently, siya ang vice president ng Philippine Society for Child and Adolescent Psychiatry. Champion, please welcome our guest, Dr. Vanessa Cainghug. Hi, Doc. Magandang hapon po.
Good afternoon.
Ayan, Doc, kumusta naman po kayo? Kamusta naman po yung buhay niyo ngayon na naka-self-quarantine tayo or naka-enhanced community quarantine?
Eto, nag-a-adjust po ako sa pagiging online kasi hindi ako sanay at nare-realize ko mahirap din pala ang buhay ng mga millennials kasi lahat online, di ba? Ngayon ako nakaka-experience ng work from home.
Yes po.
Grabe.
Iba na nga po talaga yung ano natin ngayon. Yung buhay natin ngayon, di ba? So we are kind of forced to be updated with our information technology, di ba?
Yes.
And Doc,
thank you talaga dito sa mga technology kasi nakaka-interact pa rin ako with different people.
Yes po, di ba? Connecting people. Mm-hmm. Now, let's talk about strengthening resilience ng kabataan at ng mga pamilya ngayon, no? Ano po ba yung ibig sabihin natin sa resilience? At ano po yung importansya nito during this pandemic?
Okay. Ang definition talaga ng resilience is, for me, it's the ability of a person or a family kasi we're talking about resilience in families. Mm-hmm. The ability of the family to get back to their previous functioning or become better after a big trial or crisis like what we are experiencing now. Itong COVID-19 and itong COVID-19 it's really being compared to a war, di ba? Para talaga itong war kasi buong mundo ang apektado eh. The whole world is now in crisis, di ba? And this is parang a big stress for everybody and parang it's insurmountable but I am still hopeful that we will all overcome this.
Yes, ayan, maraming salamat to. Now, Doc, ano po ba yung ibang factors na nakaka-apekto sa resilience ng isang tao?
Okay. Ang tingin ko, napaka-important talaga ng psychological well-being ng isang tao prior mangyari yung crisis. Yung kanyang mga coping mechanisms, how he addresses stress or how he tackles crisis or problems before pa nangyari yung present crisis. That's very important. Another important factor is yung kanyang support group, his family, his friends, the way he interacts with other people, important din yon before pa mangyari yung crisis. And his resources, that's also very important. For example, financial resources, his house, his food, mga ganon. That's also very important. And yung income, work, etc.
So, bali, Doc, talagang isang malaking factor dito yung parang psychological stability ng isang tao, di ba? At saka, kasi di ba, the way you define resilience, it's more of how we bounce back from
Yes,
everything
yes.
that's gonna happen.
Yes.
And malaki nga pong factor dito is kung gaano ka nga ba ka-ready sa maaaring mangyayari.
Tama ka doon. Tama ka.
Now, Doc, question ko po, meron po bang connection yung ating kultura bilang mga Pinoy, bilang Pilipino, dun sa resilience na nabibuild natin? Meron po bang certain aspects sa ating culture na parang, parang mas okay, na mas kakayanin natin yung ganitong tipo ng problema?
Yung unique sa Filipino culture na nakaka-add sa resilience natin is yung bayanihan culture. Yung community, nagsasama-sama, nagtutulungan, magkakapit-bahay, di ba innate yon sa Pilipino? Yung ganon. Naaalala ko nga po, before nitong COVID-19, yung Yolanda, yung mga bahay na matataas, yung mga may second floor, kinukup nila yung mga neighbors nila na one story lang yung bahay. Kinukup nila kasi malulubog na yun eh. So, nagbabayanihan. That's one Filipino trait, no? Ang pangalawa is yung extended family, 'di ba? Talagang hanggang sa malalayong kamag-anak, we still treat them as family.
Yes,
so, yung ating support group is malawak, 'di ba? So, pagka yung family mo in distress, pwede kang kumuha ng support from your tito, tita, mga ninong-ninang, that's, di ba, that's important.
Yes.
Ninang, lolo, lola, etc. Yun.
So talagang napapalawak yung pinaka-support group natin. That's right, Doc. Now, question, Doc, kasi for sa side ng mga students, katulad ng topic natin, more on the family and the children in it. So, kasi marami tayong mga estudyante ngayon na hindi sila nakakapasok kasi canceled yung mga classes natin. We only have online classes, but then there are a lot of universities or mga schools na sinuspend din yung online classes. And yung buhay po ng mga estudyante nakafocus or nakapalibot sa school setting. Now, paano natin i-approach yung isang student or isang estudyante kapag nararamdaman niyang hindi na siya nakaka-function ng ayos? Kasi nga, wala na yung daily activities na going to school. So, paano po natin siya matutulungan?
Okay. Talagang panibago itong situation natin na lahat naka-home quarantine, no? Yung mga nag-work, mga work from home, at yung mga estudyante na pumapasok sa school, kailangan na mag-adjust to a homeschool program, di po ba? Doon sa mga students na meron na talagang innate study habits, hindi mahirap yon kasi you are used to a study schedule on your own and you practice taking breaks, reading, and studying on your own. So no problem yon. Pero doon po sa mga hindi sanay doon, yung kailangan pumapasok sa school para ma-regulate yung mga schedules nila, a few recommendations are ito, ang nire-recommend ko sa mga mothers na mga patients ko na students. Kailangan talaga sa bahay, napaka-important, meron kang certain area in the house or kahit table lang na maliit where you put all your school things, diba? All your school things and you study there. Tapos, pag magbe-break ka, you leave them there then. Diba? So parang meron kang area which you psych yourself up as school.
Oh, okay.
Tapos it's also recommended to maintain a regular schedule. Like if you are used to waking up at 7:30 a.m., you wake up still at 7:30 a.m. kahit wala kang pasok. You still take a bath, eat breakfast, and recommended ko yung magbihis ka. Oo, kasi pag nagbibihis ka, ang feeling mo, pupunta ka na ng school. Di ba?
Well,
Kasi,
is it necessary to wear the uniform again? Or basta lang ma-ready naman yung sarili?
Basta yung bihis lang na pang outdoors. Kasi kung nakapajama ka, tapos magagawa ka ng schoolwork, parang nakaka-invite talaga yung mama mo na matulog ka lang, di ba? Aminin na natin, talagang nakaka-tempt. So, mas maganda yung bihis ka, nakaupo, hindi masyado recommended yung nakahiga. Yun.
Oh.
Tapos, schedule mo na rin yung mga dapat mong matapos for that day or for that hour, and mag-frequent breaks ka. When you do breaks, you have to time yourself and do it away from your study area. Yun.
Oh, okay. So parang it's more of conditioning yourself.
Yes, tama po. And during weekends, you also condition yourself na I won't do schoolwork today because today is Sunday. This will be time for me. Yun.
Ayun. So parang you still stick to a routine and parang ma-retain pa rin natin yung normalcy ng buhay.
Yes,
na
tama.
parang Sunday and ng weekends, talagang it's a time for myself. Pero pag Monday to Friday, we grind.
Tama po. Hindi maganda yung 24/7 din nag-aaral ka. Mas ma-retain mo ka. Mas ma-retain mo talaga pag nagbe-break ka. And don't forget to get good number of hours of sleep at night. Kasi isa pa pala, no? Isang danger pag nasa bahay ka 24/7, dangerous na mabaliktad ang sleeping habits mo. A lot of people will condition their minds to think na I can wake up late tomorrow so I will watch TV until 3 a.m. kasi I have the luxury of waking up tomorrow. That's not good. Kasi iba pa rin ang tulog ng gabi compared sa araw.
Yes.
Ayun. Okay.
Sige. Those are things that we have to take note. Especially sa mga viewers natin na naka-homeschooling ngayon. I believe we have a lot of students who are watching right now.
Yes.
So yon, advice ni Doc we always have to stick with a certain schedule and try to condition ourselves na nandun pa rin tayo meron tayong patutunguhang parang goals for that day. Ayan. Sige, Doc, ito naman po, paano naman po tayo makakatulong sa mga kamag-anak natin na sila naman yung nakaka-experience ng sintomas ng depression or parang pagkabalisa, ganun po.
Okay. Depende kung sino yung kamag-anak. For example, if mga anak natin, mga kabataan na na-anxious or nagwo-worry about sa COVID-19 kasi this is the situation where a lot of people talaga all over the world are stressed. Okay?
Yes.
Pagka young pa yung bata, like preschool age, sabihin na natin, mga 6 years old, 5 years old, pag nanay ka kasi na ganun ka bata, natural tendency mo is ayaw mo na makita na yung anak mo nag-worry, di ba?
Yes po.
Siyempre ayaw natin na matakot sila. Parang napaka-easy yung path na sasabihin natin, wala yun, huwag kang mag-alala kasi ayaw natin nga siya mag-worry. Pero yung kabataan kasi, talagang mararamdaman nila yon yung worry. So it's important na i-validate mo yung worries nila. It's very important to tell them na what are you feeling. If the child says na I feel worried, I'm scared of the situation, what will happen to me, you validate their feelings and answer them truthfully in terms that they will understand, depending on how old the child is. Yun.
Okay, Doc. Bali, yung pinaka-point po din natin dito is hindi lang natin siya basta pababayaan or we just shrug it off.
Yes.
There are a lot of parents din kasi na they also experience worries and parang ayaw nila i-entertain yung worry ng ibang tao. So their tendency is just to, hindi, okay lang yan. Pabayaan lang muna natin. Okay. So ang pinaka-point po talaga is to acknowledge or validate.
Acknowledge mo. And then tell them what you know. For example, tell them that yung usual knowledge about COVID-19, how it is transmitted, what the government is doing, what our frontliners are doing to help solve this crisis. Pero napaka-important din na you will instill hope sa kabataan. Like you will tell them, you're confident that we will get over this, although you know na talagang mahirap, na may ma-experience na difficulties yung family.
Yes po.
Okay. And another thing pala, yung anxiety sa mga kamag-anak natin, lalo na sa kabataan, they are more intense pag hindi nila alam ang mangyayari sa kanila or hindi nila alam ang gagawin. So important na you reiterate to them things that they can do. For example, you have to keep repeating the hygiene techniques like hand washing. You can even teach them the proper hand washing. Yung 20 seconds, 2 happy birthday. And whole hand, iwawash mo, hindi lang palms, ganon. Oo. And wearing a mask. It's now recommended yata na everybody should wear a mask. Okay.
Ayan.
And
okay, Doc.
Social distancing, important.
Yes po.
And ito pa, emphasize to them that by staying at home, you are already doing something.
That's true, Doc. Ayan, kasi syempre yung mga bata, ay gusto ko po lumabas, gusto ko magalagala kasi wala namang school, di ba?
Oo, sabihin mo na it's really sacrifice that they should do and everybody should do. Okay.
Ayan, Doc, speaking of difficulties, alam po natin na sa mga pamilya natin, hindi maiiwasan na meron tayong mga conflicts. Tama? And nasabi rin po natin kanina na one effect of our culture as Filipinos is malaki yung support system. Kasi we have our extended families. Now, paano naman po kung meron pong conflict sa family? And syempre, kasi we are forced to be under one roof. Ngayon, hindi po katulad ng dati na maaring ma-advise natin is you have to physically distance yourself from your family to avoid conflicts. Ngayon, talagang dito lamang tayo sa loob ng iisang bahay or iisang bubong. So, what do we do to cope up with that situation?
Oo, napakaganda po talaga ng question niyo, sir. Kasi ang usual na advice namin sa ganitong situation is you try to avoid the person para hindi magkaroon ng conflict or magkaroon ng confrontation, di ba? Oo. Pero ngayon, paano nga? Dahil nasa iisang bahay lang kayo, naku, mahirap yun. Lalo na yung mga nakatira sa condo,
yes,
na maliliit.
Siyempre maliit na yung space.
Oo, naku, mahirap talaga yun. Ang mga naisip ko lang to deal with this situation is ganito. Hindi naman kailangan na mag-ayos kayo ng tao. Or kasi there are issues and conflicts na long playing parang malalalim ang ugat or talagang it's difficult to resolve the conflict, and resolving them because there's a crisis is next to impossible, di ba? Lalo magka-clash, di ba?
Yes.
So ang naisip ko dyan is a person whom the two people with a conflict respects the other person, but for the sake of the family, you have to postpone the resolution of this issue. And you can, kung mga bata, sabihin mo, you can put it in a box and go back to it pag na-resolve na yung conflict, di ba? But right now, this is what we have to do. You have to work with the person that you don't like. But I have informed the other person that he will do the same. You can go back to your issue pag natapos na itong COVID-19, di ba?
Yes.
Oo. Kung ayaw mo makipag-usap, you don't have to say anything. Pero be careful about what you say, what you express. Yung mga mahilig tayong mga Pilipino sa mga pahaging, mga di ba? You avoid it talaga consciously kasi diyan nag-uumpisa yung mga away, di ba?
So parang mga patutsada and all.
Ay, oo, tama, ayun. Patutsada.
Parang, yan kasi. Yung parang nasa loob lang kayo ng small space tapos may mga sinasabi. No, Doc, paano kung nandun na mismo tayo sa part na hindi na nila na-control? Like, hindi na sila hindi lang napigilan yung patutsada nila. Tapos, natuloy na nga into a confrontation. Now, what are we supposed to do?
Maganda is mag-time out pa rin. They can go to separate rooms or kung studio yung apartment, to the bathroom, to the restroom, yung isa sa sala, or to the clubhouse ng condo, or to the lobby, and magpalamig muna doon. And then, remind them na you are in crisis, and it will help the family a lot if you will cooperate with everybody. Yun.
Okay, so talagang you really have to remind, we have to prioritize na now, we are not invalidating what you're feeling, but then we have to focus on what's really happening right now.
Yes.
We have this pandemic, kailangan natin itong harapin.
Kasi ngayong na pandemic, it's very important that the family functions as one.
Yes.
Buo kayo. Kasi ganito yun, no? For example, yung family nyo, walang may COVID or walang PSY. So healthy kayo lahat. Tapos may isang member na hindi magko-cooperate, tatakas, makikipagkita sa girlfriend. Yung girlfriend, may mother na positive PSY. So mahahawa yung tumakas. Pagbalik sa bahay, makokontaminate yung whole family. So, mas lalala ang crisis, diba? So, kailangan talaga whole family isi-seminar ng authority figure like you. Kung mother ang authority or father or both parents, isi-seminar nyo lahat. Hindi lang mga anak, pati katulong, yaya, driver, lahat na nakatira sa bahay, i-seminar nyo on proper hand washing, wearing of mask, social distancing. Yan.
Yes.
So, dapat buo.
Okay. Yan, reminder na talagang we have to function as a unit, diba?
Yes.
As one family.
Napaka-important lalo na ngayon.
Tuhan mo sakit. And meron po kasing mga posts on social media, especially for those people who have their family members na yumao because of the COVID-19 pandemic. So paano po kasi for mature individuals, they already understand the concept of mortality or yung pagkawala ng isang minamahal sa buhay. Paano po natin naman ito ipe-present sa isang bata? Kasi syempre hindi rin naman po nila inaasahan na ito ay mangyayari.
Yes, okay. Itong situation natin ngayon, no, is really unique. Kasi i-expect na natin that a number of families will face situations na may mamamatay and hindi mo siya makakausap. Hindi, kasi yung usual nangyayari is when a person or relative dies, the whole family gathers around.
Yes.
The family will hold a wake and a funeral, diba? And the whole clan, families, and friends are invited to say their last goodbyes. But during this time, we can't do that.
Yes.
Because we want to avoid spread of the disease. So in most cases, the person will be cremated.
Yes.
And then the ashes just sent to you. And up to that point, walang family na kasama yung namatay. And this will incur a lot of guilt feelings.
Yes.
Family sa mga nabubuhay, diba? So, ang naisip ko na lang na strategies for that is use social media. Diba? Mas maganda. Make the process visual. Pag may sakit yung kamag-anak nasa hospital, use social media or record videos of families, activities, or words of encouragement para makarating sa taong may sakit. Or pagka talagang nawala na, you can hold virtual wakes. Di ba may ganon?
Yes po. Yung e-burol.
Yes, oo yun. Ganon. Pwede rin kayong sa virtual wakes, magsabi ng mga last words na pwede sabihin dun sa yumao or ganon. Para naman po sa mga kabataan, it's not recommended na sabihin nyo na nag-abroad or pumunta sa ibang bansa. Usually may mga families na ganun na sabi, umalis lang, ganun. Actually, mas maganda na you tell the child na nawala, namatay yung kapatid mo, uncle mo, masakit talaga kung parent. It's much better to tell them. So, mas maganda to tell them the truth and to tell it simply. Simply lang. But what's important is you have to make them realize na kahit nawala yung isang member ng family, life still goes on.
Ayun. Okay, so basically, you have to give it directly to the person or you have to present it as simple as possible. But then you always have to remind that your life still goes on. Hindi nagtatapos dun lamang sa situation na yun.
Yes.
Ayan. Sige, bago po tayo magpatuloy, paalala lamang po sa ating mga viewers na maaari po kayo magsulat ng inyong mga questions sa ating comment section sa ilalim ng inyong screens. At tatanong po natin yan mamaya kay Doktora. Now, sa Twitter naman, maaaring gamitin ng hashtag na hashtag MHTalks or hashtag MHTALKS para makita ng ating mga community moderators. Ngayon, balik tayo. Now, Doktora, question po, paano po tayo makakapag, paano natin ma-raise ang ating mga children with resilience amidst this pandemic? Like, paano po natin yung mabibuild sa mga bata? Kasi nandito na tayo mismo sa nangyayari. And wala na po tayo dun sa part na stable, na psychologically stable tayo or parang more of the prevention part.
Okay. One thing, as I mentioned earlier, teach the children na the family has to function as one. Pero, like in business companies, each person has a role in the family. Okay? So, emphasize the kids na this is what you do, this is what mom is doing, this is what dad is responsible for, but you are also responsible for some things. In short, bigyan ng responsibilities yung mga anak, diba? Kasi ako talaga kasama sa prescription ko ang household chores. Kailangan bigyan ng household chores ang kabataan. Pero age appropriate naman.
Yes.
Oo, hindi kagaya nung time na lumalaki ako na napaka-inappropriate ng mga inuutos ng sa akin. Grabe. Pero nire-recommend ko pa rin na pagawin ng household chores yung kabataan. Like for example, pag 6 years old, pwede mo na utusan yan, mag-set ng table, mag-wall, ayusin yung mga gamit, magdilig ng halaman. And you should monitor na ginagawa talaga every day. And you have to emphasize na now is the time na kailangan mong gawin yan every day kasi you have a lot of time at home. Diba? Tapos, another thing is teach your child problem-solving skills. Okay, problem-solving kasi hindi natin pwedeng sabihin na wala yan, hindi ka magkakaroon ng COVID-19, walang magkakaroon ng COVID-19. Although it's a good or an easy way to deal with our anxiety, di ba? Mas maganda to teach them to prepare. Okay. So, meron na silang a notion of what to do in case magkaroon ng ganito. For example, in case magkasakit si mommy or si daddy, ang gagawin mo, somebody will take over the responsibilities of that person. Okay, for example, nagkasakit si mommy, the oldest sibling has to watch over the younger ones.
Okay.
Ayun. Or, you have to teach them to adjust. For example, if si mommy nagkasakit, you have to get used to take out food kasi walang magluluto. Diba? Pero i-take out yung healthy, hindi naman yung...
Yes po.
Okay, ganon. And always instill hope, pero yung realistic.
Okay. Okay, so bali ang pinaka-point po natin doon is you have to establish responsibilities for everyone. Tapos, alam din ng bata, parang re-reorient the kid na, okay, ito yung functions ni mommy, pero pag ako yung nagkaroon ng sakit, maaring ganito pupunta yung functions ko. Kanina siya mapapapunta. Okay, so at least oriented. Okay, that's really nice, Doktora. I'm really learning right now. Okay, so now, Doktora, question po, meron po bang long-term effects itong pandemic na to sa mental health ng kabataan? And ano po yung maaari natin gawin? If ever it's a good effect, then how can we reinforce it in the future? Or kung bad effect naman po ito, how can we prevent it from happening here?
Ay, definitely po talaga may long-term effect ito. Naalala ko nga yung sabi ng isang supervisor ko nung student pa ako, pero although it's a cliche, sabi niya, anything which do not kill you will make you stronger. Pero talagang totoo yun eh. So ito, tsaka na-realize ko rin yun sa ngayon dahil matanda na ako, na-realize ko rin yun na
parang hindi naman matanda, Dok.
I thank you. Na-realize ko yun na the bigger the crisis that you are facing, the bigger is your opportunity to do something worthwhile, or the bigger your chances of becoming a hero. Diba? Yung mga nag-aambisyon maging hero. Kasi pag na-overcome mo yun, ang laki-laking achievement yun for you. So, ang outcome dito is ang long-term effect, hopefully, pag na-overcome mo, is you will become a stronger person and you will be better able to cope with situations like this in the future. Pero ang long-term psychiatric effects din sa kabataan is napaka-possible, yung mga post-traumatic stress disorder, yung mga anxieties, worries, depression. We can help prevent this by the tips I mentioned earlier, by promoting resilience, problem-solving skills, coping mechanisms, etc.
Okay. Now, Doc, ano po yung advice nyo on how to support a family member who is a frontliner? Now, kasi we have emphasized that we have to focus as one family unit and we have to stay indoors to prevent things from happening. Now, paano kung hindi po natin maiwasan kasi frontliner mismo yung isang family member natin? So, how can we support those people?
Oh, naku, mahirap talaga yan, no? Nagbabasa nga ako ng mga references kanina. Napakahirap talaga pag frontliner ang isang member of the family, lalo na kung parent ito. Pero we are all lucky right now because of technology. We can do social media like what we're doing right now. Or, kasi remember po yung frontliners, they have duty hours, di ba?
Yes.
Ang duties usually is 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., 2 p.m. to 10 p.m., tapos 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. So yung mga breaks nila is hindi tumutugma sa breaks natin, di ba? For example, magla-lunch tayo, sila nagtatrabaho pa rin dahil magla-lunch sila 2 p.m. na.
Yes,
diba? So ang isang option natin is to videotape our activity for them to watch later. Okay? Or yung frontliner can videotape his good night and the parent at home can play it pag patulog na yung bata. But of course, kung kaya mag-live, pwede rin naman. Yun.
Okay. So parang more of magkakaroon din tayo ng parang video call between the frontliner and you.
And mas maganda kung yung video call interactive. Okay? For example, pag mag-a-action yung frontliner na ikikiss niya yung anak niya, yung parent na kasama ng bata, ikikiss yung bata para ma-feel niya yung physical presence ng frontliner and vice versa.
Okay, that's really nice. Parang ma-establish natin yung communication talaga between those two people. And hindi lamang siya basta parang nasa screen lamang, di ba?
Yes, tama.
Ayan. Sige, Doc, ngayon meron po tayo mga questions from social media. Galing po sa ating Facebook Live at sa Twitter. Now, let's start with one question. This one's from Main Wait, this is from Miss Maine Manalansan from Facebook. Now, the question is, how can younger members of the family help the elders cope with the pandemic and vice versa? Now, this comes from, parang meron po kasing generation gap between the two groups. So, paano po naman yung mga bata yung makakatulong dun sa mga mas nakakatanda?
Okay. Ito, pumasok lang sa mind ko ngayon, no? Young people, especially teenagers and young adults, even school-age children, you are all very adept with technology. So you can help your elder members of the family, like your lolo, lola, tito, tita, na medyo mga senior na, you can help them with technology. For example, teach them how to manipulate a smartphone or a laptop or an iPad so that they can establish contact with their friends, other people that they need to talk to. Di ba maganda yon? Kasi mga senior na, some are not very adept with technology. Okay. Another way that young people can help is contributing to the family and the home, like helping with household chores, helping with the cooking, etc.
So parang yes, I do the cooking and yes, I do the cleaning. Kung ano yung mga uso din ngayon. So parang we try to parang turuan din natin yung ating mga elders kung paano mag-cope up sa nangyayari ngayon. So parang through technology and ayan. Okay, sige. Doktora, ito naman po, this comes from Twitter. This is from Nika. Her Twitter handle is @thinkdominic. So the question is, what is your recommendation on parents limiting school-age children with social media use or access to the constant stream of news from their devices? I think we discussed part of this before sa episode 1 natin na kasi it's kind of draining for people when they see news from the media. Pero paano naman po yung sa mga bata? Kasi sila yung mas marunong talaga magagamit-gamit ng cellphones.
Totoo 'yun. Actually, ngayon nasa house yung kabataan, they have more time to be on their gadgets. Same pa rin ang recommendation, napaka-imposible naman na zero gadgets. That's an impossibility talaga. You still allow them to use gadgets. Maybe you can be more lenient and give them more time. Kung dati po 1 hour lang ang screen time, maybe you can add another hour. Pero it should still not be unlimited use. It's not recommended na ang gadget use ng kabataan. Tapos you can also assign a certain time to read news about the crisis. And mas maganda kung you read it together para you can explain to your child any news. Kasi marami ng fake news ngayon di ba?
Yes.
Maraming fake news and mga news na nakakataranta talaga. So you can explain to them and you can tell them, wait, don't believe everything you read. Let's verify muna. Diba? And choose also news which are positive. Like for example, if sinabi na ganito ang death toll, ganyan-ganyan, you can also say, wait, there is now news na may gamot naman. Diba?
Yes.
Yun.
Ayan, so parang more of instilling hope din. And actually, Doc, maganda nga po yung idea na when you look at news, you do it together. Tapos you can fact check together. Okay, that's really nice kasi matuturoan din natin yung bata kung paano nga ba yung dapat gawin. Okay. Now, Doc, ito po, one question from Cecile Fulgencio and Presi Mendoza from Facebook. Now, kasi we believe na there are statistics din na nag-show na tumataas po yung domestic violence in the countries that are affected by the pandemic. Now, ito po yung specific question po nila mismo. So, all sorts of abuse is also happening at home, especially this time. Now, how can we address it? So aside from the conflict that we discussed earlier, paano man po kung abuse na yung nangyayari sa loob ng bahay? Ano po yung dapat natin gawin?
Okay. Unang-una, palagay ko kaya the domestic violence and abuse is also increasing is because a lot of adult people are experiencing heightened stress. Remember, when the person is very stressed, it heightens bad emotions inside. For example, anger, anxiety, which can manifest as violence. So you address it before it becomes a violence. You address first the depression, anxiety, and stress. Okay. Pero if talaga pong nagwawala na, nananakit, we don't have a choice but to ask outside help from the barangay, from the police. Pag talaga hindi mo na
makokontrol. Yes.
Nakakatakot yun kesa naman may masaktan or may makapanakit na yung tao. That's really dangerous. But prevention is still better than cure, di ba?
Yes po.
Kung mangyari yun, i-address mo na ang any anxiety, depression, stress ng tao. Simplest option is talking to the person, finding out what he is feeling or what his worries are, and just listening to the person. Kasi when the stressed person knows that somebody is listening to him and he pours out his worries and thoughts, gaan
yes.
Yun.
Okay. Now, Doc, ito po, more of point of views po yung tinitingnan natin dito. This one's a question from Kennard Felix from Facebook. Now, the question is, what do you recommend to do for the siblings of the patient who has anxiety or depression? Especially during this COVID-19 pandemic. Kunwari, meron pong magkakapatid, madami sila. Tapos yung isa lamang po yung nakaka-experience ng anxiety. Now, how do we address those other siblings of that person? So, ano yung maaari nating sabihin sa kanila?
Doon sa kapatid na walang anxiety?
Yes po.
Okay. Ang recommendation ko pa rin dyan is mas maganda if you tell in simple terms the other siblings. For example, 3 magkakapatid. Yung bunso may anxiety and depression. Mas maganda pa rin if you tell the older 2 about what the younger one is feeling. What he is experiencing inside. Kasi remember po, ang emotions, hindi natin physically nakikita yan, di ba? So, although yung 2 matandang kapatid, I am sure, they are sensing that something is not right with the younger one, di ba?
Yes po.
Much better if you clarify this with the other 2 para maintindihan nila yung situation. And you can even elicit their help to support the sibling with anxiety and depression. They can engage the sibling who has anxiety and depression in activities para ma-release yun.
Ayan, maraming salamat, Doktora. That was a very informative discussion. Now ngayon, muli po namin binibigay pugay sa ating mga frontliners, sa mga ospital, mga polis at militar, mga community health volunteers, mga nagtatrabaho sa botika, grocery at mga palengke, lalong-lalo na rin sa ating mga LGUs at barangay workers. Kaway-kaway din po sa mga nanonood across the Philippines, and I believe we have viewers not only in the Philippines but we have viewers from other countries as well. Maraming salamat po sa inyong pagtangkilik. Now, Doktora, meron po ba kayong mga last words para sa ating mga viewers and meron po ba kayong gustong pasalamatan?
Okay. Sa mga viewers, I know that this is a very trying time, but I hope that we all view this as something which we can still get over with and get over stronger.
Yes. Ayan, maraming salamat po, Dr. Cainghug. Sobrang marami po kaming natutunan ngayong hapong ito. It was really an informative talk and talagang napunterya natin yung mga questions, no? Nabigyan natin ng linaw ang iba't ibang issues ngayong COVID-19 pandemic.
Thank you din for inviting me. Thank you so much.
Yes, ayan, maraming salamat. Muli ako po si Naiko Bautista and thank you for joining us. See you mga champions, stay safe and let us recover together.